Password accepted.
Y'all crazy. All right. All right. All right, y'all grab a seat. Bunch of crazy people. You had old regular job and stuff. Let's see what you do then. It's easy to scream and shout when you think you're going to make millions, or if you're making it. Hey, I'm fired up today, man. We got so much going on with the Alliance. It is the wave continues, the explosion continues. People getting in across the country, people starting to get it, people starting to understand it. People are like, I've recruited more people this week, Andy, than ever. Like the biggest week ever. I'm like, what'd you do differently? What'd you do? Well, you sent that. Junior sent that. I've had several of those. Simple stuff that I want to talk about today about how we're recruiting, how we're selling. Like, I'm not kidding you. The system we have set up is better than it's ever been. I'm telling you, when I started this 15 years ago, really, I would go 16 years ago, before we named it, I was like, this is crazy. I mean, I was just in shock at how simple it was and how easy it was. And went $200,000 first year, never been in insurance, but I will say I had worked in a cotton mill. And I had opened bales of cotton. You with me? And I grew up on a farm, which I knew stuff because of the way I grew up on a farm. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Simple stuff. So I get really mad at people because they were not successful. And then I think when we tried to simplify it, we complicated the heck out of it. And then that's what possessed us to put this system together, because it went from simple to complicated. Now we're trying to bring it back to simple. See, simple, we're blowing up. Complicated, oh no, oh no, oh no, back to simple. So I'm gonna keep working on simplifying today. Going like, guys, come on. And I know some of my guys out there complicated, and I apologize for my buddies. I love them. They detoxifying. Okay, the complication of this thing. All right. So we're going to keep working on that. Matter of fact, let me first detox. Remind everybody what I want to do with everybody on my team. I want everybody to win this Mediterranean cruise coming up. Okay. So watch this. Like, well, who's ever watching the cameras? Watch how I'm going to point over here. So I'm starting to talk about it. That means I'm going to walk this direction. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's simple. Because whenever I start talking about it, start pointing, that means I'm going to walk this direction. Okay, so this cruise right here, this Mediterranean cruise, we're going to travel all over the world. And all you got to do to get 25,000 points toward this is go Team Builder. And Team Builder is just right over here. It's real simple. You get a person selling, and then a person gets a person selling, and you get another person selling. So it's kind of like a triangle. It's like boom, boom. Can you imagine? Like a triangle. That gets you 25,000 points toward a 90,000 point trip. This is a trip of a lifetime. Okay? Okay, but watch this. I try to get all my people to qualify. And so I start talking to them. This is a simple thing. Kyle, Ben, talk to your people about winning this trip. See, the way this works, if they win the trip, they've done 90,000 points. And I have people at the end of this trip come down and go, my people barely missed it. And I'm like, yeah, well. And I'm going like, bro, you only got like 5 or 6. It's not like you got 1,000 people to watch after. On the 5 or 6, you check and see how they coming along. Does that make sense? Just keep it simple. And then now I tell people, say like, I ain't getting rich yet. I go, are you winning all expense paid trips, and are you paying your bills? So what you do is you can. What I liked about this, one of the things I liked about this business is you could write business and pay your bills, while you're finding other people to build a massive empire or an income. Let's don't complicate this, right? So I have people that don't check on the people. Check on their people and see where they're coming along on the cruise. All right? Now, we fly you. They said, Andy, we could buy trip insurance. I said, how much it cost? And they was like, I don't know, $70,000, $80,000. I was like, for insurance? $85 a month, I understand. So they said, why do we have to pay insurance? They said, well, in case somebody misses the first flight, they can come the second day, we can pay for the flight. I said, why don't we just pay everybody to fly them in early? That's right. That's right. I said, how much would that cost? And they was like, same amount. I was like, so let me say, my friends get an extra day in Barcelona. Does that make sense? That sounds simple to y'all? Who said, you want to do that? And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. So we fly you in a day early, which gives you all day in Barcelona to goof around, spend the night, get up next morning, we're going on this cruise. And it's a big cruise ship. Drink package comes with it. It's crazy. It's just a good time. And it's got great restaurants. They got to do some work on this Coliseum thing. It's not renovated. Last time I was over there, they do stuff different over there. I'm not a European or a Roman. They were scratching the loose rocks off the top of that so that it wouldn't fall on people. Just little bitty rocks. I said, well, y'all keep scratching. That thing going to be in worse shape. I would spray it with glue. That's what I would do, so that way it wouldn't fall off. And then we were like, what if we could get a piece of that? So we said, hey, man, can we get a piece of that? He said, no. And my guy said, what are we going to do? I said, wait until he gets up a little bit higher. He won't be able to see us. So then we just walked over there and got a couple pieces of the Coliseum. Let's try to let's keep this stuff simple. Okay? All right. So check on your people. By the way, you should win it. And people say, you don't understand it. You're right, I don't understand. All you got to do is make phone calls, book appointments. It's not that hard. You can do it. It's just wanting to. And then maybe somebody reminding you. Okay? All right, next thing. I am going to be in several different places trying to explain to people how to do this thing and how to make it not complicated. I'm not going to tell you how because it's not complicated. I'm going to just tell you how to get it simple. The list, Billy, I'm in Boston on April 4th in the morning, and then in Newark at night. April 5th, I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, and then I'm in Wilmington. The more people that you can send to these meetings, the more we can talk to. And I'll have several of the leaders of the company will be there, and we'll talk to them, and we'll just pat them on the back. And really, we're going to just tell them that it's not that hard. And see, well, it's like this. If you think about this, once you think you got a shot, once you think you got a chance, then you try. And if you try, you got a better shot. Does that make sense? So you got to get people to thinking they smell it, they believe it. So that a lot of what we do is just saying, oh yeah, it's not that hard. And then the other thing is, when I'm around, I'm a pretty good example. Because like yesterday, I was trying to explain to, I said, this couple, I loved them. I saw them as older couple, and I just loved them because all their life they'd struggled with infidelity. I was trying to say infertility. So the emotions that I was having didn't seem to, older couple, been a long time. They'd always struggled with infidelity. So when people see me, a lot of times what they go is they go like, you know what? I think I can do this. Because when I start talking about, I have extra money enough to go to all these ball games, extra money enough for cars and planes and international travel, and people go like, aha. And I go, but I'm real good at things like, for example, on the insurance applications, a lot of times it'll say last name first, which at first you get tricky. See, I saw that quizzical look. Last name first? Yeah, you put your last name first block. So what you do is you take your last name and put it first. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people mess it up, and then it gets held up in pending, and you don't get your check. So what I do is I do it like they say. Here's the crazy thing. The camera was on y'all when I tripped over that thing right there. So y'all got to experience me. My daughter, who's 21-year-old, Jane was asking her, my wife was asking her something, and she was like, daughter, sweetie, are you really going to do what Daddy said? And she said, Mommy, I figured it out. With Daddy, just do what he says. It makes it all easier. That's right. You know what I mean? And I was like, that little girl, she's going places. Okay? You tracking on this so far? So that's what we'll encourage your people in Baltimore and Maryland. Then I have flying into here, which will be the 11th, is Bill Lampe, Jeremy Patton, and Paul Roberts. And they're doing meetings in Raleigh and Greensboro and Charlotte. So I highly recommend that. You can look at hotspots. I think it's the 11th that they're doing meetings. They drive up to Burlington, and we get in a private jet, and we're flying to Atlanta. And there's some other people going to be in the plane with us. I can't remember who it is. I really would tell you if I could remember. And we're going to Atlanta, and we're going to throw down. We'll have a good time. And now I'm going to tell you what. You want your people to be encouraged. Let them witness me and Paul Roberts. Y'all know Texas Jesus, right? Y'all know Paul and Patton and Lampe. I promise you, people be like, I think I can do it now. I mean, I don't mean to speak for Lampe, but I'm speaking for him. I'm telling you, your people will be like, this caravan of people flying around in a private jet makes me think I can do this thing. All right. So then we go from there to Nashville, same day. We're getting up in the morning, we're going to fly into Dallas, Texas. And I know Fitz and Diane, and Diane Lampe, they're planning like a thing out at the hangar, a certain exclusive bunch come in, we're going to talk to them at the hangar, and then after we hang out for a little bit, we're going to do an all-day boot camp, and then we're doing an opportunity meeting that night in Dallas. We've got people coming from all over Texas and people flying in. It's going to be crazy talk. And then next morning, back to the house. Then I'm in Charlotte on the 25th. And then May 23rd, Washington, D.C. and Detroit. Same thing, morning Washington, Chicago, and then Cincinnati, and then Jacksonville, Florida, and then Atlanta, Georgia again. So I'm really hitting at Atlanta. I think the place is to build a business. People ask me, where would you build a business? You know, I just go, where would I go to Leeds? I would go where there's an airport, okay? The reason I go with airport is because the way this business works is if you can establish businesses around the country, then you have like more income streams coming in. Don't act like this is amazing, okay? But so if you're in Chicago, you can get around better, or if you're in Atlanta or Dallas, these are beautiful places to build a business from. So what if everybody moved to Atlanta and Dallas? Well, have you ever been to these places? It looks like everybody moved there. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just people everywhere. Now, I live in Burlington because my wife said that's where I was going to live. But I drive to the airport in Raleigh. Does that make sense? So I really think if we can get those people in Atlanta to have sense enough to fly up to Massachusetts, fly down to Jacksonville, Florida, fly over to Nashville, and pop around, get out of the house, you can get wealthy. Not that money solves everything. Not that everybody wants to get wealthy. But for those of you that were thinking about it, considering it as a lifestyle, that sounded funny. For those of y'all that are considering that as a lifestyle, being wealthy, you know, that's what I'd recommend. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. So enough of that. Very simple stuff. We have Instant Thunders coming up. I'm not going to talk too much about them except for they sold out, and I'm thrilled that they sold out. These are going to be the craziest experience because people are going to get to hang out the hangar. We're going to hang around a plane, hang out the cabin, come to campus, meet all our staff, and you just totally take the mystery, totally take the wondering out. So when people are wandering around, or when people are not sure, it's hard for them to do anything. But when you get clarity, when you get purpose, when you get singular intent, it's just real easy. Okay? So that's what's going to happen to Instant Thunders. We have waiting lists for every one of them. You're welcome to join the waiting list, but I'm pretty sure it's not going to matter because everybody's locked in. But you still can do it just in case. You never know. It's like you getting to come to America. You never know. All right. So that said, boom, yeah, I'm done with that. All right. Okay. I want to talk about this talking. I've got some really cool people in the audience that I want to say hey to. Chris and Deanna, would y'all come up here? Y'all clap for these guys, Chris and Deanna. How are you?
Hey, I'm great.
How are you? Good. Okay, I'm going to need to get you a mic. All right, it's on the way. You watch what happens. I've got Chris up here because Chris, I think she just ran out looking for one, Billy. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to hold these things, okay?
Okay.
You hold them down here like this right here. Don't hold them like that right there.
All right.
And don't be like doing that. Okay, now. The other thing is like when you point like this is not a pointer. This is a mic. You're sending stuff I hear. Because I have people like, I went over yonder. Oh, you can't hear me when I do. You know what I mean? It's just crazy, ain't it? Like, I talked a lot about this yesterday. Is I try to find things that work. So what I do is I just hold the mic like this, right? Just kind of get an angle. It's kind of like propped, right? Yeah, but you get people do it. All right, yeah, it's 45. It's 45 degrees. A little bit. That's not 45. That's 32. It's got to be up a little bit higher. Twist it in like that. Now come in a little bit closer. Boom, yow! That number right there. There, look like Joel Osteen Jr. right there. Okay, and I know you like public speaking.
Oh, yes.
Chris told me that yesterday. It's Chris, right?
Yes, Andy.
Oh God. You happy so far? This is the event you expected so far? Would you introduce you and Deanna? Because you can say her name better than I can.
I'm Chris Staples, and this is Deanna Vicol.
Where y'all from?
Deanna's from Moldova, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Where y'all live now?
In Jacksonville, North Carolina.
How you like Jacksonville?
It's okay.
When somebody says they're from Jacksonville, North Carolina, a lot of times I'll say, do you have a military connection? Because I know there's an Army base or a Navy base or something like that there. What's that, sir?
Marine Corps.
A Marine Corps. It might be. You in the Marine Corps?
No, I'm in the Navy.
You in the Navy? Are you stationed in Jacksonville? Or
Yes, I am.
you are. So does that mean there's a Navy base?
I'm attached to the hospital, but some of us are FMF corpsmen, which are attached to the Marines. I'm attached to the hospital, though.
So you got me when you said you're attached to the Marines or attached to the hospital. I would have thought matched Marines or Army, but you're Navy. Help me understand.
As a sailor, a corpsman in specific, we go through special training at either Camp Lejeune or I forget the other one in San Diego. But we go through this 3 or 4 month training, and it helps us for combat, being a combat medic, which is basically what a corpsman is on the Army side. And the other part of our job is just being nurse assistant. So
So like if somebody were to strike out bleeding all of a sudden, like if I'd have fell down and could you hope apply pressure?
Oh, a tourniquet, yes.
You could even do a tourniquet.
A tourniquet.
What else you qualify? Are you medically trained for a lot of different things?
For general medical assistance, but right now I'm trained as a lab tech, so I work at the lab primarily.
Do you carry a gun while you're working in a lab?
No.
Do you not shoot a gun though? They
Yes,
train
I
you
do.
that in the Navy?
They do.
Yeah. How long have you been associated with the Navy people?
5 years.
5 years. Do you have a game plan? How long are you gonna be doing that?
I have until 2019. I have 2 tries to each year to get promoted. So I'm going to try to get promoted as well. And I would like to stay in with this business as well, too.
Okay, so you say you've got to 19. What does that mean? Does that mean you can leave after 19? Or they're willing to pay you that much longer?
Well, in the Navy, you can only stay in for a certain amount of time for each rank, and mine's 8 years, so 2019 will be my 8th year.
Oh, so if you fail to get promoted,
Yes.
you got to rock. But if you get promoted, you can extend.
Extend.
Has it been like that a long time? Do you know? Is that standard?
It's pretty standard.
We let people stay here even if they don't get promoted.
That's good right there.
All right. How long y'all been married?
Since 2012, so
yes.
about
3
3 or
years
4
and a
years
half.
now.
Okay. So here's a simple thing I do. I'm saying Kyle, but I'm saying another Kyle that I do. What I do a lot of times is I get people up in these hot spots around the country, and it's people that I think are going to be massive with us, but not today. I think they're going to be massive over time. So I get them up and I just let them start talking, Terry. I ask them simple questions that they know the answers to. And I'll start coaching them even on how to answer their questions about their life so that it makes more sense. You see, because my subject today is 5 ways to create power when you speak. So I want to help Chris create power when he speaks.
All right.
Right?
That's good.
Yeah, because I have noticed as I've looked out at the landscape, people that can speak a lot of times make more money.
That's right.
People say, not doctors. I go, I don't know if you studied the same landscape that I studied. But the guy who the doctors work for that was a doctor and he had the ability to speak is the boss man. And the boss man make more money. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So have you noticed that the generals and those 4 stars, those bros lay something on you, don't they?
Yes, I do.
They have some power when they talk. And so these techniques that they use are not complicated. They're very simple, and that's what I want to talk about. But what I start doing is talking to these guys, and I did it at the meeting yesterday. So across the country, Mike, when you're looking at your organization there in Tampa or other people's organization, and Robin, y'all want to get people up. First of all, watch what you're doing, think how to talk better, but then teach and coach and bring more and more people along.
That's right.
Okay. Now, what I have seen is people would judge them and say they're not selling much, or they're not recruiting much, or they're not tall enough, or they don't have a PhD. You with me? Where I try to look at the heart of people. You with me?
Yeah.
And here's the way I look at the heart. I look if they're coming around me and if they want to be part of the team. Does that make sense? Because the person ain't got a bad heart if he don't want to be around. Like, here's my criteria for my kids. Number 1 criteria. Whoever you're dating, kids, my children, Spencer and Haley, if the people you're dating don't want to come around us, the alliance, the family, Jane, they don't want to come around Jane and me, that's a problem. And I'm not talking about a little problem. I'm talking about a major problem.
That's right.
You see, like, Andy, where'd you come up with that? Well, I talked to a lot of people that know stuff, and they said, something's wrong with people's heart if they don't want to come around. A lot of times they got something to hide. A lot of times they don't like what you're doing. They really just faking to get what you got. And they just want to come around just a little bit and take advantage and then go away and do their own thing. So when people come to the leadership in July, we got a big leadership. By the way,
right.
I expect we'll sell out today. It may be to next week, but there was 77 tickets available, and I can't remember the exact number. And Diane Lampy went ahead. When I texted her, she said, "Make that 74 available now," because she got 3 more in her group. And then Mike Leventovich took one, and my texts were starting to come in, so it's probably down to under 70. And people said, "What y'all gonna do when we sell out?" We're gonna quit. We're gonna quit selling them. That's what we're gonna do. It ain't what we're gonna do; it's what we ain't gonna do. We ain't gonna worry about it no more. You said, "What are we gonna do about the other ones?" You don't really have to do anything. The people that hear, we're gonna have to feed them, entertain them, educate them. Not the ones they hear. We ain't gonna worry about that. I'm not, but you might. But does that make sense? Yes. So we keep this stuff simple. So when they come to the leadership, and I see y'all all the time, and I see you here, and I think you still work full time, so I can't expect you to be here all the time, but you show up. Does that make sense? So I don't judge. It's like, and I think they're selling a bunch. What's a typical month for you?
Recently, about 4,000.
About 4,000?
Yes.
Now, that's the 1 week rolling average, right?
That's about a month.
About a month-week rolling average. If
This
I
week,
included the other months, you probably ain't averaging that much, are you?
Probably not. Yeah. But in the long run, it's gonna average more.
In the long run, y'all gonna be multimillionaires.
That's right.
You're gonna change lives all over the world.
Yeah, we are.
And let me tell you how I know they want to associate. The other day I said, this show is viewed worldwide, international. And so people look at me like I'm crazy. And what'd you tell them? What'd you tell me?
My dad is watching TWC in my country to learn English. So.
So don't tell me they ain't looking international with this show, because their daddy ain't up in here. He's over there. But now, how about that for association? Not only is she here, daddy's here. So it's 4,000. I'd say they're probably averaging 3,000 a month, right? But she's wanting to learn and coming around. Like, this is the future. You with me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The other reason I get them up here is I'm a very boring person by nature. Like, people look at me and they get bored, but they start watching them, they go, something's getting ready to happen. As a matter of fact, Rebecca Lixie, why don't you come up here? Then I know everybody be fired up. Woo! How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
It's good to see you.
It's good to see
I
you.
don't get to see you as much anymore.
I know. I try to come in.
You got a baby.
I know.
Tell us about the baby.
He is 5 months. His name's Alexander, and he's just a ball of fun.
Really cute, too. Have you
I
noticed
think
that?
so. I think so.
Yes, there's no denying it. You can't be like, hey, Mike, he's cute.
I'm prejudiced, though.
So, when'd you have him?
October 26th, 2015.
All right. And so you're getting back in the groove of selling.
Yes, sir.
So I'm
Yes,
getting
sir.
to see you more. How, and coming back to more stuff.
Yes, sir.
So how's it going? Tell us what's been happening.
It's going very well. I'm staying in touch with Chris Hill a lot. We're going over my schedule, making sure that I'm staying on it. And schedule's the huge thing. If I stay on my schedule, then the business goes and the recruits start coming in.
Have you got 1 or 2 potential people that are coming around that you've
Yes,
hired?
sir. Yes, sir.
Who have you got that's potential?
Jennifer Burns was at the meeting last night. She's licensed. Another gentleman, Bobby Freelot over in Louisiana, he's licensed. And then I have about 6 in licensed coach right now. And then a couple other licensed ones who will come around.
They'll figure it out.
Yes, sir.
You understand what I'm saying about how I like them,
Yes, sir.
and that's where I'm gonna still hire like crazy. They don't take up a lot of my time. Like, they don't drive me crazy. They ask questions and they're fun when I have stuff, but a lot of times they're not trying to drive me crazy when I don't have stuff. Like, a lot of people, they want to drive you crazy when you ain't have a meeting, and then when you have a meeting, you can't find them. Does that make sense? It's like you got it twisted on you. Make sense? All right. So, how about your sales? Typical week, a month. What'd you do in February, March?
February was 8,000 issue paid, so probably submitted about 16 this month. This month so far, I believe I've submitted about 14 to 15, but I've issue paid about 5 so far.
Okay. All right. Okay. So, people make it more interesting. People make it more complicated. People make it more profitable. I mean, people the whole deal.
That's right.
All right. People fill out applications correctly or incorrectly. And if you can get the basic, simple stuff down and get good people with a good heart, Mercedes, you got no problem. Okay? You just got to go through the numbers. And then you got to also set the example. All right. So by people, I mean stories. So I'm probably going to come back and ask you a little bit your story. We did your story yesterday. We didn't do your story, but I kind of know your story. I've heard a lot about it. Let me tell you, the subject today, y'all ready for this? Get your mind right. The subject for today is 5 ways to create power when you speak. And the 5 ways are going to be tied in to think. T-H-I-N-K. T-H-I-N-K. 5 letters. Okay? All right. The first thing I want to tell you, the first thing you need to think about when you speak is people remember stories because they hold people's attention, they stir emotion, and they help you remember. People can remember stories better. Here is a story. Man tried to cut down a tree with an axe, and the axe was dull, and the edge was not sharp. So it took a whole lot more hits, and a whole lot more strength, and a whole lot more energy, and the axe would kind of jar in his hands and sting his hands more. But when he sharpened the axe, and he got it slicker and smoother and sharper because he did some prep work, it went into the tree further, easier, and it didn't sting as much when he was hitting the tree. You see, like you're all like, is there something else coming? Because this is crazy. No, that's all it is to it. But you'll remember that people that are better skilled make more money with us faster and easier, and it don't sting as much.
That's right.
And then hopefully you go like, where's the axe sharpener? You know what I mean? Like, how do I do that? Well, that's the audios that we have. We've just come out with all these shows are coming out on podcast now. And all you got to do is click on a podcast, and it's in your phone. You can listen to it exercising, riding down the road, when you're cooking, when you're cleaning, when you're when you're running. It's so much easier. Okay? Books. I'm reading about 4 right now. I've got one in the bathroom, got one beside the bed, got one on the kitchen table, got one at the office. They're spread out, make it easy. We also put on my calendar when to be at meetings. It makes everything, I had this one guy tell me, he said, some of my people don't like coming to meetings sometimes because they don't like the speaker. I'm like, what's that got to do with it? I don't like waking up, I don't like getting out of bed. But the part where that's where I have to keep my job, that's where I have to go get something to eat.
That's right.
If somebody bring me something to eat and put some money in my checking account, I might not get out of bed either. you understand what I'm saying is, it works. So coming to the meeting works. And if you're so much better than the speaker, how come you ain't a speaker?
That's right. That's right.
And you say, well, it's a matter of time. How much time? Because my little watch is going round and round. And I ain't seen you move up the levels yet. Move up the levels, Mr. Does that make sense?
That's right.
Hey, where do they get this? I always say, it's just annoying to me when you see arrogance and brokenness in the same body. You know what I mean? Like, come on, man. You're not got no money, and you're not rich, and you're not got a big business. At least you could do is listen to what somebody else got to say. You know what I mean? All right, so here's another one for you. Here's another story. Does that make story? See how that ties in?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, how about this? God makes the waves. The surfers ride the waves. And the surfers ride the waves when the waves are there. So what's that got to do with anything? Have y'all noticed that everything's going good in the Alliance?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, surfer, get the surfing. Does that make sense? How you surf? Well, you got to get into the ocean. So I had this guy, he's talking about running an ad. He said, yeah. He said, I run an ad twice a week. I said, that's awesome. I said, do you run out of people to call? He said, sometimes. I said, what if you ran the ad 4 times? He said, I wouldn't run out of names to call as fast. I said, all right, let me think about this. I said, I got an idea. He said, I think I already thought of it. Does that make sense? He said, I'm going to go ahead and run him out. I said, that's good thinking right there. So the surfer's got to get in you got to be in the game. Now watch this. Sometimes, I've seen these movies too. The waves are created during the storms.
That's right.
Surfer got to surf when the waves are coming.
Come on here.
Yeah.
So let's say you have junk coming in your life. Well, we're having waves right now, but there's junk in your life, storms in your life, challenges in your life. Well, now is the time to surf. Now's the time to run ads. Now's the time to sail when you're in the middle of these storms, because that's when a lot of times the wave is there.
That's right.
That's right.
Is that tracking on that? And people go like, that's not the same. I go, then you explain to me your version about how you going to do it. I just tell me. I'm with you. I hate to be quiet on the show, but that's what I do is I try to be quiet. Makes sense. Just come on now. Tell me. And they start rambling. And I go, hey, listen. Sherry, Tom, whatever the name is. Listen to Brandon. I need you to explain to me what your plan is. Well, that's what I usually give. Whenever they give you, I don't think I'm making progress. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So the first thing to think about is try to think about stories. Now, words. Y'all, you remember this one? This came out, this was 1862 when this was penned. Sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never harm me. All right. True courage consists in doing what's right despite the jeers and sneers of your companions. What it's saying is, no matter what you say to me, it's only words. I am going to contradict that and say what you say to people is the most powerful stick and stone there is your words. Okay? So by the way, that first one, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. That did not come out of the Bible. That is not a verse. Does that make sense? Some people think it is. They'll be like, that must come out of the Bible. No. Some joker made that up. Because some kids was making fun of his kid, and he said, don't ignore that. But it's hard to do. So what I want to encourage you to do is think about when you're dealing with other people, words are powerful. And they're either building up or they're tearing down. Okay?
That's right.
So you got to think about this. Which direction is it going? So when you're recruiting people, a lot of people think you're talking to people and they're not. Like you really should think and try to say the right things. Now, here's another tip about thinking. I'm going to get into this a little bit more, is people think you're saying good stuff whenever they're talking. Now, that sounds crazy, but when you've got a person on the phone you're recruiting, or when you're in a house and you're selling, when that other person is selling you on how good the policy is and why they need it, like you say, why did you mail it in? And they start talking, and you will listen to them, you sound like a genius because they're talking. So when you're recruiting, when they're telling you how powerful leads are, or if they're telling you how important the culture of the company is, you sound like a genius because you're listening. This is probably the thing I hate worst about this show is I'm expected to talk when I really want to do what I'm going to do when I'm in Atlanta and when I'm in Nashville. And what I really want to do is just ask you some more questions about your life and what's going on with your husband. Tell us what your husband. I'm gonna do it. Tell us what your husband does. What's his job? It's a pretty cool job.
I think so. He is a singer for the Down East Boys, which is a Southern gospel group, and they travel all over and sing.
You got to promote that group better. Tell them who it is now.
The Down East Boys,
Uh-huh.
and he's the tenor.
Here's the funny thing. Where's your husband from?
Michigan.
But he's from down east. Shouldn't that be down south or something?
It's been the name of the group for about 25 years.
Really?
So they get picked
Your
on
husband can't hardly be 25 years old.
a little bit.
Huh?
He's 28.
He's 28. He started when he was 3.
He actually just started a year ago.
So he just started a year ago. They recruited him.
He, go ahead.
He applied.
Yes.
They recruited him.
Yes. I kind of told him he had to do it in a week or I would do it for him
Oh, really? To be the singer thing?
to apply for it because he
Oh, you were
always
gonna
wanted to
apply-
do it.
You were going to get him to apply to be that singer guy. Tell him his name and tell him where some different places they've sang.
Okay. His name is Stephen Lixie, and he's traveled from California all the way to Mexico singing, goes to different churches, schools, colleges.
He's gone a lot.
Every weekend, and then they leave and they're gone for a month towards the end of the year.
Every single weekend and then a month. He loves it. And she supports him, and she's selling insurance and recruiting people and building a business, and they got a little boy. Does that make sense? So what I'm telling y'all is I can talk and talk and talk and tell you how to build powerful stories, but this is where I'm the most powerful to her is when she's talking and telling me about that. Because now I know this stuff. I kind of knew it. She just reminded me all this stuff. Now, what I think is hard for people is they think that she don't know how to do it if they don't tell her. So they want to do all the telling. When in fact, 90% of the problem or 90% of the situation with people is do they want to do it or not. And getting people to want to do it is when they like coming around the meetings. So what I would say to my friend Alex Abian and Patrick Connors and Mike Leventovich, that's a big organization I got. That organization does about $800,000, almost $1 million a month.
That's right.
Let me tell you something. You'll be happier when you get organizations doing $1 million a month.
Amen.
That's right.
And you're going to be really fired up when they're doing about $400,000, $600,000. Okay? It just keeps getting better and better. Okay? So what I want them to grow. So the question is it do they want to do what I'm saying, or does they not know how? Well, I think they know, but I'm going to remind them. But I really want to say to y'all know, the more you can get people to talk, the more they want to do it. The more they want to do it, the more they try, and the more they try, the more they're successful they are. So getting people up at meetings and training and asking them questions and not going, do you want me to, okay, so I know what she's going to say. Would you give me the mic back to Deanna? Do you want me to show you how to sell more insurance?
Of course.
Do better?
Yeah.
Okay. Of all the times we've talked, if there was 100 times we've talked, or 100%, how many times is just me asking questions about your country and where you're from and about Chris, and how many times is about how to do it? Do you know?
How
What
to do it?
percentage? If I'm telling you how to do it, and let me tell you, last night at dinner, when I was looking across y'all and I was telling you how,
Yeah.
but I've talked to you a lot of other times. Could you put a percentage on how much of it's telling you how and how much is telling you where I'm asking you about you and Chris?
Probably half and half.
You think half and half? Okay. What would you think, Chris?
Maybe 75%. Sorry, 75% of asking about us, and maybe 25% of asking how to do it.
Okay, so she feels like it's 50-50. He feels like it's 70-25. Here's what I think. I think 95% has been just being nice, and 5% at the most telling you how. I've seen people, when the person is telling them how all the time, they say, he don't even talk to me. He won't even pay attention to me. He don't even want me to. As a matter of fact, all he does is cut me down and tell me what I'm doing wrong. Matter of fact, I don't even want to talk to him no more. Would you talk to me? And I go, you know, the problem talking to me is I really don't know that much. So I'm probably just going to be a nice person. They go, no. You know how. That make you tracking with me on this? This is big. So what I would say is, the more you get to know people, because your business, you're going to get better because you're going to hear Terry, or you're going to hear Rebecca talk, right? If you're coming around. But if you don't want to be around, you're never going to learn. Okay. All right. Oh, I got all the leaders out there. We have done surveys. Actually, Gallup has done surveys. Jeff Bright has told me about these surveys. When we survey, Ryan, when we survey lower management, a lot of times in companies, they say if they got the boss's job, they would be more dictatorial than the boss is. They say, if I was in charge, I would tell them what to do. I wouldn't put up with nothing. So it works. Some people are visual. I am visual. And I can talk better when I can see what I'm saying. Get it? See what I'm saying. So the manager's here, and he's got people that have smaller companies, smaller managers, right? And these people say, if I had that job, I would be meaner. And what I want to say to them is, you know why you ain't got that job? Because you're meaner to your people than this guy is to you.
That's right.
And that's why you don't have as many people as this guy does, and you got a smaller business. Have you seen that?
That's right.
But they survey them, and they say, if you got promoted, what would you do different? I'd be a bigger... That's like saying you want this guy to be a bigger jerk to you. And they go like, well, I'd do more work if you did. What? What? You with me on that? So they're spending a lot of time, they say, if I was here, I would scream at him how to do it. I'd put him on a chair and tell him everything he's doing wrong in front of everybody and tick off the world. That makes sense? That's what they do. So think is my how to power speak. So, all right, so the first thing is you want to develop trust. People trust people who make it more about them. People trust people are more like them. Somebody's opposite of you, like in other countries, in this country, people don't like this other person because he has different skin color, because his nose is different than this nose, because his eyes are closer. What? That's the way people are. So if you're this guy, if you're this person, and you have a person, the more you can be like them. Like, I understand how hard it was selling. Like, I was probably worse than you. Like, I'm not kidding you. Ask if you can find anybody that ever went with me, and they'll tell you, except for most of them quit because they're like, you're so terrible, we're not going to follow you. And I was like, I thought it would encourage you because I'm so bad. One guy did. He stayed around for about 9-10 months, made a lot of money, and then he got some other job somewhere and left. And I was laughing because I was like, how come you like this business? I didn't make any sales. And he was like, I knew that I was better than you. Is this like...
Yes.
Okay? Because like if you hire somebody and they say that to you, you just go like, that's what they told Andy. One day I'm going to have a jet.
That's right.
Just laugh. Okay. All right. The other thing is, so when you're interviewing people, you want to relate to them. Now listen, I don't lie, because if a person says they done evil stuff, they stole stuff, I go, whew. I might say I thought about it. That's close as I can get. You know, I'm going to get as close as I can to being like them. Slow down with people too and ask questions and figure out how they are. Okay? How they are. Tell them about how almost you didn't make it to this country. Like how fortunate you were. Like you were that close not to getting to come over here.
So the program that I initially participated in order to come to America was called the Future Leaders Exchange. Is a program for kids from former Soviet countries to come to the US for a year and stay with a host family, go to a high school, learn English. And there is 3 steps to it. The first is like a very basic test to see if you know any English at all. So after the first step was done, the test, like we were let go on a break because we were like hundreds of people, so they have to verify to see who passed, who not. And I had we had to go to a different city in my country to take this test, and I had a couple friends who came with me, and we stayed at one of my relatives' place. And after we got done with the test, we went just out for a break, and we met somebody who was also taking the test, and they knew my friend, so they told her, "You didn't pass." So they said they didn't see my name either. And my friend said, well, let's go home now that we didn't pass, so there's no point to go back. And I said, well, it's fine, I'll just like to go and see for myself just to make sure. We went and looked at the charts with the names, and she's like looking at her last name, and it wasn't there. And then I looked and my name was there, so. And if I didn't notice that, I would have gone back home to my other city, so I couldn't have stayed for the second round of the test. So I would have lost my chance. And if it wasn't for that scholarship, my parents would have never afforded for me to go anywhere, like abroad, and like even to America, like is so far, so expensive to come over here just for a travel or an exchange if you finance it. So I was really, really fortunate because I was so close to losing this chance.
Is that crazy? Just like that close.
Yeah. And I remember this friend of mine, the other friend that was with us told us later that she asked him the previous night. So she asked him, what are we going to do if we both pass and Diana doesn't pass? Where are we going to stay? Because they stayed at my relative. So she was already planning ahead, how are they going to stay there if I don't pass and they pass? And actually it was backwards.
I got a feeling that's going to be a lot of your life. Because people think, and then it ain't going to turn out like they thought it was going to turn out.
Yeah.
All right. So trust and truth. You want me to tell you about truth? I can say, you talk to Cassie, you talk to Brianna about this lead, our leads. Like I could say, you come talk to our staff about leads, and I could talk for 30 more minutes about how you'll understand where they are, because I'm going to tell you one thing. Even if you don't listen, I'm going to tell you. We can tell you where leads are purchased by agents that are not following up on the leads, and you can get them at a huge discount, and it's just like buying leads because the person that had them didn't do anything with them, and we'll tell you. But if you don't believe me, you ain't going to ask.
That's right.
So what I'd suggest you do is come down here and meet with them and say, show me this of which Albright tells tales.
Okay.
And you will leave a believer. And when you believe, you trust. When you trust, you take action, you'll buy them. And then when you buy them, hello, you got leads, you go sell and make more money.
That's right.
I said, bro, this can't be as easy as you're saying. I'm like, I am telling you. The people, Junior, me and you are examples. Terry, you right up there with us with your master's degree and everything. It's simple stuff, just doing what we say works. But the people that come around, your upline, the guys that come around and they come down here, and what they do is they figure it out for themselves. The more things that people figure out for themselves, they're convicted of.
Yeah.
I might have wrote that down somewhere. I think I did. This might come across better and it might not. People give mental and verbal assessment to what they're told. That's what some people out there are doing now. Albright said that, let me tell you this. You with me?
Yeah.
Or in their head, they're justifying, they're mental assessing. But when people come and discover it, they hold it with conviction. People say things about my company. You with me? But when they come and discover, they hold it with conviction. Car salesman says, come down here and kick the tires and sit in it and turn the music on. We went and looked at Ferraris yesterday.
Right.
Woo! That's right. I'm convicted.
That's right.
People said I needed one. I know I need one. I'm going to get one. I had a preacher friend said, don't waste your money on Ferraris. You know what I found out? He leans more towards Lamborghinis. One man said, he meant give it to God. I go, no, he meant he likes Lamborghinis more. I know this guy. I think he like a Porsche better than that, but I like the Ferrari. I just like that horsey. Raring up. Is that a pony, not a horsey?
It's a little pony.
Look like a horsey to me, but it could be a pony. I just want that, you know.
Yeah.
I have always not bought Ferrari hats and Ferrari jackets because I said, that don't make no sense. I ain't got one. I'm going to get me one. You see what I'm saying? Kick the tires, you come around, come to the Alliance, and recruiting. People were asking, I had people, I've been beating my head against the wall for 4 weeks. I was like, you could have come down here and sat down for 30 minutes. How inexpensive. It had cost me a hotel room, $75. What does it cost for 4 weeks or 3 weeks or a year of no results? How expensive is that? It is inexpensive
That's
to
right.
come spend a week down here with us, and we show you the ropes.
That's right.
I'm telling you, Bo. Let people, I want to let you discover it, but I can't make you discover it. I got to get you to look. So when you're recruiting, think about this. As you're talking to people, let them talk. That's truth. And as soon as you can, let them see you, come to your house, or come see the Alliance. Does that make sense? So think truth. How do I get them to believe? And it's not by loading them up on information.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the T. Let's go to the heart, or the H. I think. Think is TH. The H part is, do you have a heart? Are you helping them? Or are you hindering them? Is what you're saying helping or stopping? Because people do stop people. They stop them from selling. They stop them from recruiting. Here's what they do. If they don't make them feel as good, because I don't know about you, how many when you feel sick, you don't feel like doing anything? Let's think this way. I feel sick, I don't feel like doing anything. It's not, when I feel sick, I don't feel like recruiting. When I feel sick, I don't sound like selling. When I feel sick, I don't come to the meetings. It's when I feel sick, I don't feel like doing nothing. So when you make a person feel bad, it's some genius stuff right here. You with me? Is it helping or hurting? Is it making them feel better or does it make them feel worse? And I know people. Here's what they think. If I don't tell her, it's okay to tell her 10 things she's doing, but I've got to tell her something she's doing wrong. I know people treat me like that. They'll text me or they'll call me and they got to help me with that one thing. You understand what I'm saying? So when you're talking to people, you say, well, we got to correct people. We've got audios that correct. We've got books that correct. Okay? And here's nothing else. We could take some person to lunch and correct. In other words, buy them lunch. You say, how's that going to help? Just ask them some questions. Like, here's something here's a correcting method. This is a correcting method. You with me this? What's something that you think you could do in the house that would help you do better?
It will help me if I will have more confidence in my skills and ask more questions, say their name more, find out more what do they need, what their goals are, ask deeper questions. I think that
So
will
she
help.
just told me 5 things. I'm not in the house. She just told me 5 things she could. Now, guess what she believes? If I list the 5 things, or she tells me the 5 things. She believes them. So then the question is, what books you think you could read? You got any idea?
Yeah, I'm reading How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success. That one helps me a lot. It reminded me about saying the names more often, and also to go back to your old clients because they are a source of new clients. So keep in touch with your old clients because they can give you referrals. And if you're nice with people, they'll refer you anyways. So that one's good.
I want her to get fast. I want her to get better quicker. I want you to get better quicker. The one that's pounding on people. I want you to get better faster, bro. But you don't know I'm talking to you. Unless your cuz. He always thinks I'm talking to him now. Cuz say, you always talking to me, ain't you? I was like, you got that right. That make you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And see, here's the question. I make Cuz feel, there's Cuz right there. I make him feel worse or better? Is he smiling or is he looking mad?
He's smiling.
No kidding, about 15 years ago, Russ would be like, you got on that show and you told all them people what's what. You remember that? I was like, bro, I was talking to you. And that's when it got ugly. I was ducking. I was in the front seat. He was in the back. He was trying to reach up over me, and I was getting down in the floorboard. He didn't sell nothing for 2 weeks. When you make them feel worse, they don't feel like doing anything. All right, so do you make them feel better? Are you motivating them? Are you getting them crazy? Or are you doing the opposite? Are you stumping their growth? And people do that to people. Somebody told me that I did that to myself sometime. I said, why would I do this? I don't know why you do it. You just do it. Anybody else feel the same way you do me to motivate yourself?
Yeah.
So we got to work on that too, what we say to ourselves. But I wouldn't want to get into that too. This is not a talk on what we say to ourselves. But whatever you say, you believe. And whatever you're hearing is going in your head. So I like to get away from negative people. Okay? Again, I don't want to get into how to heal yourself, but I'm in the power talk. The power talk is helping or healing. T-H-I. I is for inspiration. Are you inspiring people? Are you motivating people? Okay, watch this. Here's what I think. I think I'm a good promoter of stuff. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I know this. Whoever can promote stuff is going to get people to go use stuff and be around stuff.
That's right.
So once I get an organization, I get a guy making $400,000, I go promote and get these people to the event, and I leave it to this guy to do the promoting. So far, I've got this guy promoting this guy. Every time, like my group that's like small, I get them over here. My group over here always grows 10 times faster or a lot faster because I'm a promoter of the stuff. What do you mean by the stuff? The CDs, the podcast, the TWC, this meeting right here, the activity call, going to hotspots. Because I am so insane about inspiring people more than I'm insane about me looking like I'm somebody. That makes sense? Like Don King. You know, y'all remember the boxer guy? He promoted boxers. Who else? Vince McMahon. No, a lot of people don't even know who Vince McMahon is. People that are good at getting people to come see an event. Like preachers know this. People will not give money to the preacher unless they come to church. You with me? Oh, you say, well, if they watch TV, they do. I know that. That's the same thing. You understand the same? If I get them to listen to the TWC, they will contribute to the premium. They're not going to contribute to your premium. They're not going to contribute to the company unless they come around. That makes it see you
That's
do.
right.
That's why last night I probably give away $400 or $500 worth of stuff to people. And then I say, now you ought to buy some too. And most people will buy 3 or 4 more times more than when you give them something. But if you start them out, they start making sales with nothing. They go, well, I started with nothing. I don't really need to buy nothing. So does this make sense?
Yeah.
Try to get people, try to inspire people to be a part of the program.
Yeah.
It's very intentional. I'm very intentional. When somebody does something, when they're on the show, I'm like, or when they come here to our event, I want to make everybody special that comes here because I want to inspire them.
Yeah.
I want to encourage them to do it again. And I know people, they'll take 3, a guy don't come to the meeting, so he'll spend 3 hours with them coaching. And I'm like, bro, why don't you get him to come next week? Well, if he'll come, I need to teach him now because he's got to make money now. Watch this. So this guy right here, he's hired a person. This guy needs to make money this week. But this guy didn't come to the meeting. So I'm like, well, there's another meeting next week. You go, he's not going to make any money. I say, that's the price he pays for not coming to the meeting.
That's good.
But I don't beat him up with it. I just say, bro, come to the meeting. You can make it. You can make it. You can do it.
Yeah.
And I might tell him one little thing, but I'm not going to spend 3 hours because he's got to come to my weekly meetings. You with me? And now here's the other thing. I have options. I've not only got this guy, I've got this guy who was at the meeting.
That's right.
And this guy who watched the TWC. So it's getting to people to come into the world. Okay? All right, so inspiration needed. How many of you, some people like to hear themselves talk. And I'm getting tore up here talking. Now I'll come up here. So I'm not the talker, right? Okay. I think you're a good one to get up because I don't think you talk needlessly.
I don't like to.
Tell us your background now, how you got associated with the organization, education, what kind of jobs you've had, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, my education, I went to college for pre-med, so my degree's in anatomy and physiology. And that led me to working for the Department of Agriculture, where they put me in the woods and I was looking at trees. And
Where did you graduate? Did you graduate?
Yeah, I graduated from Quinnipiac University
Okay.
in Connecticut.
All right. So they put you in the woods. You looking for bugs and stuff?
Yeah, looking for beetles.
Hey, let me ask you something. Woodpeckers, when they're pecking on a tree,
They're looking for grubs.
that's what I thought, bugs. My wife, she said, our tree ain't got no bugs in it. And Spencer's like, that's why all them woodpeckers are out there.
Pretty
That
much.
makes sense. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. It's got woodpeckers all over. We ain't got no bugs. That's what I'm thinking. I'm glad I finally found an expert on this. This was just this week, too.
Probably
That
got
was not needed, by the way. That was not needed. Or was it needed? What's better, asking him his expertise on the bugs and telling him about me and my wife and my son, this is a real conversation, or me beating him up and telling him what he ain't doing? Yeah, I'm telling y'all, these needless, fun conversations are needed more than these beatings and these screamings. You said, do we have a problem out there in the alliance? No, we don't. Why are you talking about this? I don't want to have that problem. You understand what I'm saying? You with me? I don't want people doing that. So that's why I'm talking about that. This is what we do. So how'd you find out about us?
My stepfather joined 3 months before I got laid off from the Department of Agriculture. And I
Okay.
was already licensed. So I got laid off. I was like, what'd you say about leads?
So he encouraged you to get your license while you were out there in the woods.
No, I got licensed for AFLAC
Okay.
before I got into the woods because I couldn't find a job.
Okay, so when you had your physiology, kinesiology, thesiologies in class, certification, college degree, you couldn't find a job.
Correct.
when you got your insurance license,
Mm-hmm.
did people start calling you like crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? I tell new people that, I said, you ought to get your insurance license, you can find a job. You say, you want me to work with you? Well, yeah, I want you to work with you, but if you get an insurance license, everybody's going to be calling you. At least you'll feel wanted. Because with your 4-year degree, you feel like nobody wants to talk to you. You feel like you ain't needed and nobody thinks you're worth a nickel. Just get your license. People will tell you how great you are and come to work for them.
Pretty much.
Pretty much. Truth. All right. So you asked for leads. Tell us how you got here, like why you're here, you moved here, and stuff like that. What's the mentality there?
All right. Well, I've been with the Alliance a little over 3 years now, and I was kind of just stuck around the wrong type of people in New Jersey, and it kind of turned me into one of those type of people, and it's something that I felt like I needed to grow out of. So I came down here almost 11 months ago now, and different
By
start.
grow, do you mean mature?
Largely, yes. Mature, get better, stop being an idiot.
Grow up, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember talking to me about coming down here?
I do.
I'm trying to. I just remember. I was like, we had this conversation. So how'd that go?
Well, I was thinking about moving. I was thinking about going out west. And then I have a feeling you planted a seed in my mom and Michael's heads about me coming down here.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, and I was like, I should probably call Andy.
My man said, I'm trying to get away from some stuff. I said, you trying to get away from something? I said, specifically what it is. He said, well, it ain't legal. I said, He said, it ain't good for you. I said, where you want to move? He said, I was thinking Colorado or California.
Well,
You remember that?
yeah,
You remember me laughing?
yeah.
I didn't say nothing. I was just like, he didn't say, nothing was said. I just started laughing.
I knew what he meant. And he told me to come down here. I was like, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Like, that's the way the conversation went.
Yeah.
He said that. I laughed. Didn't say nothing else. He said, what do you think about coming there? I said, that's probably a better idea or something like that.
It was a much better idea.
Because I was trying to figure out, how do I say this? Because I needed him to believe it. So I just laughed. See, here's the thing. He's got a 4-year degree in all his ologies. He's a smart guy. Most people are smart, but you got to get them to feel like it, and you got to get them to want to do it. As I see that with children a lot, with parents. They're like, he don't know, he don't understand, and then I'll talk to the kid, and I'll treat him like an adult. I'll treat him like he's mature, or she is. Like, for example, my kid won't read a book, she don't do nothing. I was like, give her $30, $40. You go like, why do you do that? That's what you do with adults. You give him $20. That $20, I'll go get your car for you. $100, I'll climb up on there and tear it down for you. Your kid's like smart. He ain't gonna read the book just for nothing. That don't make no sense to me either. You think your kid's dumb. Kid's smart. A lot of our agents are smart. People holding them down. If you got $40, $50, you got $100 in your pocket, you know. And this one woman, she said, Mom won't do it. I bribed her, like I said, how much? She said, $10. I said, book ain't worth $10. I said, try 40. She come back and said, that worked. People, I mean, you know, adults the same way. Yeah. That makes sense. So it's like our deal is $500 a pop. And people say, like, well, my deal, I get $4,000. I said, let's review the reason you're calling me. And they go, the reason I'm calling you is I can't do none of those $4,000 deals. I was like, 0, dumb, 4,000. Y'all know what dumbs are. Like 1 to 1 is 1, 1 to 2 is 2, 1 to 3 is 3, 2 to them. So he was doing the dumbs. He doing 0, dumb, 4 grand. I said, try 1 to 5. That's 500. 2 to 5, that's $1,000. He said, the mathematics is dumb adding up. Does that make sense? It's the way people are the same way as these kids. Agents are the same way as adult people. Treat them like adults and use some intelligence behind, like you use intelligence. Quit dumbing them down. So only saying what's needed. Like, don't get into this rigmarole, because people get into this, $4,000, we selling real estate? Well, what's it? You know, the interest rates are down, the interest rates are up. I'm like, dude, just ask him. You know, why is he calling in? You with me? This is think. Think. Just slow down, just think for a second. Huh. Okay, now you called the ad, you're responding, you came to the meeting, you tell me what's up. Talk to me, man. Don't needlessly ramble. All right. Last is kindness. Last thinking part is kindness. Do you know what wins out every single time? Conquers all. Maybe that help you. You know what conquers all?
Love.
Love. Love conquers all. So kindness. Think kindness. Think love. Think I believe in you. When a person tells you something and you say, I got to come to America because I went and checked. And I say, way to go, that's great, a lot of your life is. Or I can say, I remember when I didn't know if I made the varsity basketball team. Well, first of all, you're trying to be a topper. She got to come to this country, Bo, because she checked the list. You made the basketball team. I'm trying to relate to her, but you're not. Y'all have basketball in Cordova, Moldova?
Yes,
You have basketball? You like basketball?
Yeah.
Mike, over to her, please. You like basketball?
Yeah, I like basketball.
Can you play basketball?
I did a little in high school, but I enjoy watching people that are greater. Play a lot of fun, you know, they're really good guys.
Is anybody playing in the NBA from your country now? Do you know?
NBA? No, I don't think so. It's like
NBA.
American?
American basketball. It's
Uh,
called the National Basketball Association. That's what they call the American pros.
I don't think the guys over there are tall enough. No.
Okay. You tracking with me on this conversation? Yeah. She likes basketball. I understand. Now I know a little bit more. Really? You're not as tall?
Not as many tall people as here.
Is what it is. Is it hard for y'all not to top? Like, you understand, or try to relate and top. It's just, I hear you. That's cool. So, in kindness, in love, is it in appreciation? Do you believe in what they're saying? So, the funny thing is this. When people, is it really, do I care about them, or am I trying to figure out a way to get advantage? And in any way, I'm trying to remember the conversation. Did it sound like it was to my advantage if you come here, or where I'm trying to make money?
No. You mostly focused on me and sounded indifferent, largely, towards yourself.
Sounded indifferent. I want to get back. It sounded indifferent. I missed this on needed too. Have you noticed in meetings and even here, a lot of times people are laughing and I'm not laughing, and then there's other time when I'm laughing when they're not laughing?
Yeah.
That's because I thought about it and I'm trying to figure out which one inspires, which one seems like love, and which one will work.
Yeah.
And if I think in laughing is putting them down and it's going to make them feel bad or not going to help the situation, I don't laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the meeting gets out of order because somebody said something sexually or mean and people think it's really funny, because here's what people say. If I cut down Rebecca Lixie and it's the truth, then it's okay because I'm just telling the truth. Mm-mm. You with me? So sarcasm is telling them a negative thing about them in a funny way. And if everybody laughs about that, I usually go, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And if I could get more people watching that, so it's doing what's needed and doing it in love.
Yeah.
So when your thing about where you're going, and I'm like, it's in love. It's 100% love. But I'm thinking, what am I going to say? It's a way, right? Now, if it's funny and it's like my thing about the infertility, and it was something else really dumb I did. Y'all don't even remember it, but it was pretty bad because y'all got to laughing about it, and I got to laughing about it too. Something I said later in the day. I can't. I'm thrilled that nobody remembers it. On the other hand, I'm like, don't y'all watching me? So when you do dumb things, and you're like, oh my God, everybody, they won't remember it 24 hours.
That's right.
They don't, because it's not as much about you as it is. But you get me on the laughing. Would you need to laugh, or do you not need to laugh? All right. Last thing, and this is huge. Y'all don't know what she's dealing with. And I'm going to tell you this. I don't know what she's dealing with either. Tell me your husband and your boy's name again.
Stephen is my husband, and Alexander's our baby.
Okay, also tied in to Stephen and Alexander. So you got Rebecca, Stephen, Alexander.
Yes, sir.
You got a mom and daddy?
Yes, sir.
They married?
Yes, sir.
Okay. She's dealing with that, he's dealing with that, and they dealing with that. So you got a mom and daddy?
Yes, sir.
They still together?
Yes, sir.
All right, so they're dealing with this, here to here, here to here, here to here. They dealing with all that, right?
Yes, sir.
Does that make sense? You don't know what they're dealing with. I got this one person, here's what she got. She done got married. Her mama had a boyfriend. The boyfriend broke up. Her mama got married to another guy, and they got divorced. So she was with him. She knew him for 5 years, and she's married to another guy. And this is the guy that does most of the coaching for her. And she got a husband who knows this person, who's now married to this person right here, and this person who he don't really know that one, but he knows of it, and then he knows this person for the one that coaches her. Does that make sense? And then his parents are divorced, and both of them remarried. Does that make sense? Now, what if they have a kid? You don't know what people are dealing with. And there's more people that could have cancer. There's more people that could be sick. There's more people that have a personality disorder. There's another person that could be drinking. There's another person that could love. Another person be mean. You see what I'm saying? So I don't know what she's dealing with. And she probably ain't going to tell me. That makes sense? He says automatically, my stepdad. And so I'm like, I'm thinking that means there's a dad. Or is he alive? Did he die? Did he die suddenly? Was he killed? We had one, daddy was killed when he was 4 years old, and it was in his store. I was like, oh my God, your daddy got killed? Yeah, it's in his own gas station. I was like, oh my God. He did. What happened to your mama? She remarried. What happened there? Divorce. Oh, God. Oh, Lord, have mercy. But he raised you. Oh, yeah, but they divorced when I was 16. It's like, how is she doing? So does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So you got to think that everybody's dealing with stuff. And I don't know about y'all, but I need a hug. You know what I'm talking about? I just need somebody to understand. I'm just trying to do the best I can. I'm just trying. I found this thing that we got leads. I dealt with all these insurance companies. Used to deal with Fidelity and Guarantee. They had some great products. They got bought by the people in Africa. And then Africa sold them to some people in America. And then America sold them to some people in China. You go, no, wait, what company is that? Fidelity and Guarantee. You didn't know that? You didn't know I've been dealing with all that? Because I ain't got to try to throw that all on you. Matter of fact, you ain't got to worry about it. But I'm just telling you, I'm dealing with all that. Monday night, this coming Monday night, I'm having dinner with the president and CEO. He's over some country over there, Canada and America. What's the other one he's over? Y'all don't even know. He's over 3 countries. Forrester's in 3 different countries. United Kingdom. He's in the United Kingdom. He's over CEO of Canada and U.S. And having dinner with him and his wife, and me and my wife are flying up to Toronto and have dinner with him. I'm dealing with stuff. Does that make sense? And he's doing the best he can. I'm going to light him up on a couple of things he's doing. I'm going to give him some suggestions. But I'm going to love on him as much as I can. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I'm dealing with all this stuff. I found this. Right now I got it where the insurance companies, I'm getting, what's Kyle? No, not Kyle. Jonah, he turned the E out. 2 hours later, he got paid.
That's right. That's right. Woo. Wow. Yeah.
Paid.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to have no more pending? Do an e-out. I don't like e-out. Well, then fill it out, but fill it out right. Does that make sense? And then you can hire as many people as you want in every state. We got products. I got a deal, man. I got a program. I've made so much money. I've got people that have been with me 20-some years, 23, 24 years, way before this business. And they love what we're doing. I'm telling you, you can do it too. You run some ads, you talk to everybody you know, get them sell some insurance, tell them fill out the paperwork right, tell them don't complain, no BMC, no bitch moaning complain. You know, no, just let's. And don't worry about her business, don't worry about his business. We blow this thing up like metal. Fuji! Does that make sense? Like, just keep this thing simple, and everybody win this cruise. I want to tell y'all something. We are now officially, you become an agency manager 2 times this month, you hit that level, we're going to pay for you to go down to Cabo San Lucas. Yes. People have been saying, I thought we might go to Whistler. We might go to Steamboat. Well, we might, but we ain't. That's right. We done made a decision we're going to Cabo. Now, the only thing I hadn't decided is a lot of people are going to be offered on an extended stay that they have the option of, since you flew down there, you can stay a few days. We ain't decided where we're going to stay extended. I have decided I am going to extend my stay in Cabo San Lucas. I've already made that decision. If you are an agency manager, you can decide that. But I haven't decided where. Now, the one thing you know about me, it's going to be a nice place to do my extension stay. That's right. But I don't know if it's going to be a private 3 houses up on the side of a mountain. I don't know if it's going to be another resort. But we do know Cabo is where we're going for agency managers. So now you got 2 trips you can win. Let's just get this thing rocking. I know, all right, I want to make that announcement. There's probably some other announcements I should make. But I want to announce this. You are now authorized and deputized to go 100% wide open in this business. That's right. That's right. You don't have to ask me anymore. You don't have to hold back. You don't have to worry about the carriers don't have enough money. Surplus is good. Everything looks good. The trip's on go. The lead distribution is working better than ever, and we got more leads and inventory than we ever had. That's right. All right. That's right. So, with that, thank y'all for plugging in. We love you. TWC's over. We will see you everywhere across America. Bye.